What is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com, the place you go when you want action-packed content in the app business, because I talk to some amazing founders in the mobile app space so that we all can collectively learn from them. And today I've got a phenomenal guest. We're going to talk all about games. What are the hottest trends? How are they making money? And what features matter the most when you're trying to build a sustainable mobile game business? So without further ado, let me introduce the guest. He is the head of analytics and co-founder at GameRefinery. Go check him out, GameRefinery.com, if you want insights on all the latest happening in the mobile game space. Let me introduce, his name is Joel Julkunen. And like I said, he's the co-founder at GameRefinery. Joel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Lucky and excited to be here.
I kind of screwed up on that intro, but thank you so much for coming here. So GameRefinery, you guys provide insights. So it's sort of like an intelligence platform for those in the mobile gaming space.
Yes, that's correct. So yeah, we are kind of a data provider for the mobile game industry. So we, of course, we focus on kind of, let's say, deeper insights, game features, what features and mechanics are trending, what genres are trending, what the best players in the market are doing, and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of go under the hood of the games and make the App Store more transparent for anybody who's interested.
The monetization trends. What are some of the things that are happening in the mobile gaming space in terms of monetization?
Well, if I have to pick just one thing that kind of touches all of the genres nowadays, it has to be the Battle Pass system. I don't know if you're familiar with what it means or entails. It's kind of a monetization mechanic that is based on seasons. They can be monthly seasons or bi-weekly seasons, whichever. And the idea is that when new season starts, there is a kind of tasks for the players to complete or thresholds to reach, and then they get rewarded for reaching those thresholds. And of course, there's usually the free layer, which is available for everybody. So that's something that kind of drives engagement all across the board. And then there is the premium layer, which kind of requires you to purchase the Battle Pass, which can be called like Golden Pass or Golden Ticket, depending on the game. And the idea is that if you purchase the premium layer of the pass, your rewards increase in value, and you get more of those rewards. And almost always there's some exclusive stuff also, that, for example, skins in Fortnite or other games. And the thing is that the Battle Pass system, why it works so well, is that it can be actually implemented in any kind of game. So no matter the genre, you can have it. It started, of course, in the West from Fortnite and was adapted by other mid-core shooting games. But now, as the 2019 moved along, we could see in GameRefinery, because we are following all the trends in the games, we could see that even casual games like match-3 games started to implement the feature, because it doesn't wreck the balance or the normal gameplay of the game, because it's kind of on the sideline, so you don't have to think about kind of losing your game's essence or soul to that evil monetization mechanic. And it also offers something for everybody for free. So kind of, even if you are not a kind of a pay to win player per se, you get more engagement kind of content to the game, and that of course then drives player loyalty and if you're a paying client LTV in the long.
Is there like a mobile only game that you're like, they've done Battle Pass really well?
Yeah, so yeah, of course, it is used in some kind of cross-platform, the same mechanic cross-platform as well. But in mobile, it is now the one of the biggest things. And as I said, Fortnite was maybe the one title or the game that kind of familiarized that mechanic with the industry. But now, as I said, Clash of Clans was able to kind of make 2019 one of its greatest years in revenue-wise, mainly thanks to that the Battle Pass system that they implemented during last year. Many of the match-3 games like Gardenscapes or Fishdom have implemented that as well. We have seen some slots games, so kind of casino games, implementing the same kind of mechanic. So it's coming hard, and it's not only US and the Western markets, because in China we also follow Chinese mobile game markets. In China, it is even kind of a bigger kind of a trend. Almost if I remember correctly, like 1/3 of all of the top 100 grossing games in China, so the 100 games that make the most money, are utilizing the battle pass system.
Is it a subscription-based system or is it a one-time fee?
It's kind of it's not kind of a auto renewal subscription, so it's not like that. But the idea is because it's usually like monthly seasons or whatever. It usually goes so that you purchase the pass, and then for the season, which is usually a month or 5 weeks or whatever, you get those benefits and you get those exclusive rewards from those tasks. And then once that season is over, you have to repurchase it. So it's not an auto renewal subscription, but it has those kind of subscription elements to it.
Yeah, and it's sort of, like I interviewed Brian he's at, I think I forgot where he's at now, but back then he was at Backflip, and he was talking about monetizing off of impatience, right? And it's sort of, I'm kind of going through this blog post as you talk too, Joel, but you have this great example where you can activate a premium account and it's usually for $3.99 for a season. It's usually locked in for 15 days or 30 days, but it gives you that reduced crafting time, reduced spell time, enhanced daily chest rewards. So it's sort of like a little jolt of adrenaline for a little bit and get people to sort of buy a smaller, I guess, in-app purchase at the same time. So it's sort of like the psychology of it, trying to get into the psychology of it.
Yes, you're exactly right. And then there's the other element on top of that, because you get those thresholds and during that season and those milestones and those tasks to complete, it also kind of makes you want to play the game more, because then when you play the game, you unlock those additional rewards on top of those, let's say, automatic benefits. And then kind of as you play, you unlock those higher grade rewards, and then you can see that, okay, I haven't still unlocked those really cool, let's say, exclusive skins in Fortnite, and then that makes you play. And after the season ends, you have to make the decision that do you want to kind of renew your pass, and usually if the content is good enough, if you get value for your money, if the implementation is right, more often than not, players decide to renew, and that's of course good for the developer.
But what I want to move on to next, Joel, is now we talked about how to make money. I want to talk about some of the features that matter most. Like when you're thinking about building a game, this is more for the studios out there just thinking about the ideation phase and maybe thinking about the next title. What features are the most important to really get engagement high, which will ultimately lead to more monetization?
Yeah, that's the big question, and something that we actually get a lot in GameRefinery. And it can be said that it's a bit genre dependable, so depending on the genre that game you're making, of course, because certain features kind of drive success more in some genres than others. For example, if you think about like some synchronous PvP, player versus player action, it's much more important in FPS games or something like that than, let's say, match 3 games, casual games. So it's genre dependent. But there is a big, if you think about the whole of the market, all of the games in general, there's kind of a big upward trend when it comes to, we call them deeper social mechanics. We're talking about guild mechanics or alliances and clan systems, and then different kind of cooperative playing mechanics in casual games and mid-core games alike. And this is big at the moment. So guild mechanics and clan mechanics have traditionally in mobile game been viewed as a more kind of mid-core feature, like strategy games are using it, RPG games are using it. But during 2019, we talked about Battle Pass, but another big trend was guild mechanics and clan mechanics making their way to casual match 3 games, dice games, board games, and so on and so forth. And that's a kind of that's a feature that acts as a platform for other engagement features. So when you have a guild mechanic system in place, it makes it much easier to seamlessly add stuff like co-op playing modes, like, let's say, team competitions, live events that kind of utilize those elements. And that's one big thing. So guild mechanics and everything around that, and different co-op modes, co-op playing modes. Like now, almost all of the top match 3 games have some kind of co-op events or competitions that where you are matched, kind of teamed up with random players or your guild team members to compete against other teams in matching those gems or candies or whatever. And that's I think is a big one. So that's one, and then of course live events in general in mobile are getting bigger and bigger. So having a good live ops to rotate those effective events, to give players more kind of diverse and refreshing content, to keep the experience new and exciting all the time. So give them more things to do. And that's what live events are extremely good at. And you can also test new kind of gaming modes and deeper mechanics through live events. So you can spin up a live event and test something that you don't want to kind of take a solid part or kind of a permanent part of the game just yet. But then if the results are good, if your players engage more during that event and spend more during that event, that can be something that you can think about it. Hey, maybe we want to turn this to a kind of permanent aspect of the game. So to sum up, I would say after the long monologue, guild mechanics and everything deeper social, so co-ops and guilds, and then on the other hand, live ops and live event related features. So those are, if you have to name something that is important in all mobile game genres.
All right. Well, let's talk about let's move on to the next topic. Games that have the most potential. What are you going to get? Yeah. What I'll just start with that.
Games, okay, of course. It depends if we stick with the US market. Start with the US market because it's a bit different thing in Japan and China if we talk about genres and game types. In US, it's kind of a good situation because there are plenty of strong genres on top crossing that are kind of have enough pull and demand to be able to kind of sustain a couple of hit titles and even the kind of let's say kind of other titles as well as making enough money to support developers. And for example, match 3 games, slots games, turn-based RPGs, forex strategy games are doing really good at the moment. So those type of games are kind of course, the competition is fierce, but the market is big enough to sustain several players, several titles. Then of course, there are some genres like MOBAs, card battlers, action RPGs in West that are not doing as well as they are, for example, doing in like action RPGs are doing extremely well in China. And in US, they are struggling a bit. It might change in the near future because in MOBA genre, NetEase is bringing Marvel Super War, which can be actually analyzed in our system. It looks pretty promising. Then in Riot's League of Legends mobile game, Wild Rift is coming. In card battler games, you have Legends of Runeterra in closed beta at the moment. So a lot of interesting things is happening at the moment. So in general, you can kind of have success in any genre. Of course, you have to have the extremely competitive feature set, implement those features really well, and of course take good care of the UA and kind of a really effective UA. But of course, if I have to say that what genres are the biggest ones and there's room for many kind of games, I would say match 3 of different kinds, forex strategy games, turn-based RPGs and slots, just based on the numbers. But of course, now somebody comes and says that, hey, my endless runner game is making enough money for me and it's a great game. So of course, that's possible, but the bigger picture looks like this. And then in China, of course, it's all about RPGs, action RPGs, MMORPGs, and Japan is all about turn-based RPGs. So if you look at US and Western markets, there are more kind of viable genres kind of sharing the biggest part of the cake than in China and Japan.